You know that a resuscitation machine makes like a sound. I thought, why has someone put a coffee percolator in my bedroom? What did you get the significance of the sheep? Because we put a sheepskin underneath Robbie, and I thought, why are the sheep in my room? You know, why is there a coffee percolator there? Why are the sheep there?
Well, Terry ended up in a coma, and was clearly unconscious for some time, and then conscious and immobile for another period of time. So that, and I think what we're interested in about your story is different states of reality and different states of awareness, and some of the just extraordinarily surreal things that happened around this. Unbelievably, what we're talking about is some sort of mix of reality and farce, and it's not necessarily going to be your story, but your story is inspiring this. So it might not be about Terry.
It might be around.
Yeah.
But using going through a door to know when it's something coming from the subconscious mind. That's really good for two reasons. One is that's a lovely kind of metaphor, but it's also very useful because farce is about doors.
It's got lots of corridors as well.
Corridors, Great. So these are things that I took away from the session, which is just an ideas capture of everything people were saying. So what the person in the bed sees isn't always real. So it could be a sheep or a coffee machine. But you also watched The Singing Detective, where you have the ability to move into a song and dance number, where a nurse's uniform actually becomes a costume, and the puppet as a narrator or commentator. I don't know where we've got with that, but whether we thought it was a good idea or not, but it's an idea. It's how we use the puppets is the thing about how we tell the story. So we should keep thinking and talking puppets.
Start here this morning, and probably later in the day we'll move towards some more abstract puppetry, but I think it's quite good if we pin the concepts onto these guys. If I'm on the puppet and I'm looking at the puppet, I think as an audience you know where I want you to look. Yeah? Which is at the puppet. Yeah? As soon as I look up, I think you look at me. Because I am more interesting than this puppet.
Actually, I'm watching the puppet.
You're watching the puppet? No, you're not, because I can see you looking at me. A bit of a focus and a practice just before we come on stage, so that we don't come on stage with, with him round like this, and forget that actually that's not what we intended. Okay? That's it.
That's it, hold him up, Stephen.
Okay. Now, I don't want you to let go of the puppet.
I'm not letting him go.
Can we sort of see the hug whilst you're still holding the puppet? So Sonis, is it possible for you to lower your body to kneel down, but keep the arm up? That's it. Just so we can see a little more clearly. That's it. Yeah, and then we'll just do some sort of judicious cuts,
Okay.
you know, on diagonals and things, so that we can just lose a little bit of the weight of some of it and just give it a little bit more shape, which will be a bit pleasing. So we can take off some of the hand a little bit, you know, take that down a little bit.
Legs off, and he needs to be able to, so if I show you, he needs to be able to come down like this, which is what the other Robbie could do, and which this one currently can't do. So it's an issue. I don't think we need the legs.
Well, it didn't work for me when it was sitting on the ground, whereas it did really work for me when it was sort of floating. And when you're kneeling, I think we need to find where it looks most effective. And you know,
this long one is probably all Luke doing that line about learning from a book, because it was about 4 takes.
Gotcha. What we're going to start with is just possibilities for the counting sheep song at the beginning. Now, we may have had a sleepy song on the radio that's quite similar, we're not quite sure yet, but it might be a sort of based on the Beatles sleeping song, maybe, possibly, because it gives us sort of the right feel as well. So I'm going to start with that, then I'm going to go into some possible counting sheep ideas and your sleepwalking, Richard's sleepwalking ideas. I meant to say some of Nick's words. Yeah, some of your words from last week as well. I'm drifting to a world where I'm in a dream.
From my slightly biased perspective, what I am seeing is what I truly believe patients, people, human beings, families are going through. Wow. So that again, I think it's been caught marvellously. From your production, hear what's going on the inside, Terry. Wow. Well explained. And the reactions of everybody around and putting it in the context of Hotel California or Fawlty Towers or anything in between, I thought was really brilliant. I saw all the people that I see in a hospital. I saw cleaners, I saw nurses, I saw doctors being a bit dismissive about things, very dismissive. I saw the rest of life going on, the thoughts which must be going on in somebody's mind as they're in coma. The only comment I would make is that people don't just suddenly open their eyes at the end and say, what happened, where am I? But that's a fluctuating process. And
in your experience, when somebody emerges from a coma, how does that occur?
Well, once in a while, there really is somebody who engages and not quite picks up the conversation they were having the minute before, but is back into reality. With obviously, there's a gap. There is a bit of memory which can't be there. So the fact that there might be a different government, or the weather may have changed, or someone.
When I woke up, so you wake up slowly over weeks and weeks and weeks, and I couldn't believe my hair was long and my nails were long. I just couldn't believe it.
And people will often say, I heard voices, or I heard sounds, or clips of music, or my mother talking to me, and then they tend to put things into context, but that context may not have actually happened. So we have memories, and whether we just plonk the memory into a little sort of gap in the soundtrack, I don't know. But when you're in the, when you're in the business on the shop floor, you notice a sudden change. You may not be aware of a gradual change, an increase from 40 to 50 to 60 a minute, but if there was a sudden change, and possibly with that a volume change, it becomes very much more audible to those that are around.
When my mum spoke to me, I used to get a big red blotchy neck.
Which therefore was an absolute total sign that you were reacting to your environment, even if you couldn't say or do anything. And your mum would have seen it and would have recognised it.
So there are a lot of things where you all know what it's about, but we, the audience, won't know what it's about. We'll just walk in, we won't know anything about this at all. And we need you to absolutely tell us clearly what is happening.
Do you feel that we should give like a very small synopsis of what the show is about?
I think that it's perfectly easy to make the few things I've said clearer, you know, and just always remember that we don't know what's going on, only you know what's going on, and we need to very clearly know what's going on.
From your feedback, thank you, it's nice feedback, and Colin as well. I think we can do better. What we can do, we can show you, and we will understand on the actual performance to understand and make it clear for you. I think we can do that a bit more.
Thank you.